I'm awesome. How are you?
I'm great. Come on in.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Joel, so why don't you have a seat in my office? And thank you so much for giving me that email with such a comprehensive background as to what's happening in your situation.
Yeah.
So let me know if I'm understanding this correctly. So right now you had a few personal absences from school, and you're trying to get your absent grade or your grade in terms of your class participation altered because of your own personal family-related issues.
That's exactly what it is.
All right, awesome. So given your situation, as your life coach, I prepared a few tips, tricks, and preparation guidelines to use when you go to your professor's meeting tomorrow morning and you explain what happened to him to try and alter your grade.
Cool, thank you.
So I've narrowed it down into 3 steps in terms of the preparation. So this is all the work you're going to do before stepping into that meeting with your prof. So the first thing you're going to do is analyze your purpose. So what do you want the audience to know, in this case your professor, what do you want him to know, and what do you want the action item for him to be when you walk out that door? So make sure you have that ingrained in your head, that way it'll be your use of persuasion throughout your entire meeting. The second thing is analyze your audience. So what kind of professor are you talking to? What does he care about? What does he value in terms of marking? And I think I read that he values not changing grades because he doesn't believe they should be political.
Yeah.
So that's something we should definitely keep in mind when we're talking to him about persuasion and changing your grade. The third thing is to structure your presentation. So I'm going to give you a framework of 3 things you're going to follow. The first thing is your introduction, where you're going to tell a story about what happened, and you're going to explain your mission and your vision for what you want to achieve within the conversation.
Okay.
You're also going to outline an agenda of items that you're going to talk to him in order to persuade him what your grade should be. The second part is going to be your main points, and that's where you're going to really execute on your purpose and what you're going to do moving forward in terms of changing that grade.
Okay.
And the last thing is your conclusion, where you're going to sum up all of your main points, what you want to achieve, why you believe that you should achieve it. So what's the merit behind him changing your grade? And then you're going to leave him with an action item, or he will leave you with an action item. So we're going to follow those 3 frameworks.
Cool.
And now I'm going to give you some tips in terms of delivery. And what's so important about persuasion is that you have to be able to deliver an effective conversation in order for the audience to really resonate with what you're saying and what your purpose for the conversation is. So the first thing is within your delivery. So you want to make sure that you are concrete in what you're saying, and usually persuasion, I'd say, to be enthusiastic, but given your situation, I think that you really want to wear your emotions on your sleeve. So your situation is that you had a passing in the family, and this is something that's really affected you, and it's 2 out of the 3 reasons why you were absent.
Okay.
So you want to make sure you're communicating to the prof your emotional toll that was put when you had a passing in the family, which resulted in you missing 2 classes, which is totally understandable. But make sure that event is being expressed within your delivery of communicating what it is that you were absent for. The second thing is remaining with constant eye contact. So if you're making eye contact with someone, it gives you a lot more credibility in terms of what you're saying, and it also showcases your emotion towards the purpose of why you missed the class. Your use of space. So showcasing that you can, if you are actually kind of communicating like this with a very close use of space, it showcases that you're not exactly confident in what you're saying. So make sure you're utilizing your room, you're utilizing the space in the room, you're comfortable, be mindful of his personal space, but make sure you're comfortable and your body language showcases your confidence, but exactly your deep emotions in terms of what had happened. And the third one is the thank you versus sorry approach. The minute you go into that conversation and you say, I'm sorry, you lose credibility. So make sure you say, thank you for your understanding versus I'm sorry I've missed 2 out of 3 classes, okay? So those are tips in terms of how to deliver a proper persuasion within a conversation.
Cool.
Okay, Dale, the last component of Persuasion 101 is within the feedback, and that's categorized into evaluation of your performance and following up with the professor. So in terms of evaluating your performance, how well did you follow that 3-step framework that I left you with, and did the nature of the conversation change that in any way? Second is to follow up with your professor. So he may leave you with an action item of maybe a write-up to make up for your attendance points, or he might ask you for some concrete evidence as to why you missed those attendance. So we're going to work together after you have that conversation tomorrow morning with your prof, and figure out what your persuasion style is after you put all of these things into play. And we're going to discuss how you can effectively follow up with your professor in either saying thank you or providing any items to go on with moving forward. Cool?
Yeah.
All right, Dale. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
All right. Good luck during your meeting tomorrow morning.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Professor Hatch?
Come in. Dale,
Thank you for seeing me.
no problem. What brings you here?
I wanted to discuss my mark from last semester, and more specifically my participation mark. I feel once you hear out kind of my story and what happened last semester, that I'll have legitimate reason that we can reach a compromise to have my mark raised in the class from a C, what it is now, to a B.
Over the past 5 years, I've only altered 3 students' marks, and I am very strict on changing grades, so I would like to hear a very, very valid reasoning for your absence.
That's fair, and thank you again for seeing me and hearing me out. Last semester, I was working 20 hours a week, and in the middle of the semester, my grandmother passed away at age 87. And to go to her funeral, that's what caused me to miss the 2 classes and the full week of classes. The other classes were missed because I was working so much, and I really feel, based on my record, that this is the only C that I have, and how well I did on the other marks in the class, from the midterm to the final and the paper. I missed those classes for legitimate reasons, for which I can provide proof, the full week of classes that I missed for my grandmother's funeral. And because of that, I'd like to be given the opportunity to make up for those missed grades, or have those classes not count towards my final mark.
Okay, Dale, given your situation, I've come up with 2 solutions for you. The first one being you can make up for 2 out of the 3 classes missed by providing a death certificate for the classes that you missed for the funeral. And the last one, since it was because of work, there's something I can do because work is not a valid excuse for missing school. The second option that I can give you is allow you to write chapter summaries for the lectures that you missed.
Okay.
So you can provide a brief overview of the chapter in a 1-page summary and submit that to me within 1 week.
Okay, based on those options, I'm going to choose the second one, doing the chapter summaries. I think 1 week is fair, and thank you for understanding my situation and giving me options. Again, I appreciate this opportunity.
Okay, and just going forward, please try to remember to let your prof know about circumstances during the time that they were happening, so that this doesn't happen where I've already set your final grade and you're now approaching me with your concerns, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Dale. How'd it go?
It went really well. Using the tips and the steps that you outlined for me really helped me in terms of preparing, understanding how Professor Hatch's needs were going to be conveyed in that conversation, as well as coming to a solution and compromise. The action item that we decided on was I'm going to come up with chapter summaries for all 3 classes that I missed, and that's going to make up the marks to help my grade get raised. Professor Hatch was very understanding of my story, and I'm very thankful that she met with me. And if you would actually want to look those over before I hand them in next week, that would be really helpful.
Of course, absolutely. I'm glad I could help.
Thank you so much for meeting with me.
Take care.